You so much, Bailey. Thank you for the opportunity to come back to beautiful Orange Beach, and you custom ordered our weather. I was worried about it coming down here, but I worried for naught. This is just gorgeous. All of this started when I began to get complaints from citizens of Baldwin County that the Baldwin County School Board was spending taxpayer dollars in a political campaign that I frankly only vaguely knew about at that point because I was in Montgomery. But these citizens were right here in the midst of it. And after 4 complaints, I started looking at it very seriously. And then complainant number 1, who was Kevin Spriggs from Spanish Ford, who's sitting over here, complained for a second time. So he's complainant number 1 and number 5. And then we got in gear and took a look at it. We ascertained that the law of Alabama was being violated by the school board. It's Code of Alabama, section 17-17-5. And I welcome any of you to take a look at it in the internet or look on my Facebook site, and we've got it excerpted there. It's just one sentence. And it says, in such clear language, that a sixth grader in the Baldwin County school system could read it and could tell exactly what it means. And it means what it says. It says that no local school board shall spend public funds for any political activity, A-N-Y, any political activity. Based on that, I decided to come to Baldwin County, and I did. And it was Friday, March the 27th, before the March 31st referendum vote. At that point, I put in a request to the Attorney General's office. I reported to them all that I had found, that it was a clear violation. I asked the Attorney General's office to investigate, to turn the matter over to the Baldwin County grand jury, and to stop this spending of the taxpayers' dollars in political campaign. Not only a violation of the law, but that's morally wrong. Instead, the Attorney General on Monday, the day before the election, put out a news release and answered my request for an investigation. He said that it's legal to spend taxpayer money in the Vote Yes, Bill Baldwin Now campaign. He based that on a 2003 Attorney General's opinion. Now, the problem is that this law on which I'm proceeding was passed in 2010, and you just can't use a 2003 Attorney General's opinion to interpret a 2010 law. A freshman in law school could tell you that. Chad Kilgore, you're not a freshman, but you are. Anyone could tell you that that's an improper use of a 2003 AG opinion to interpret a 2010 law. So that left it up to the voters of Baldwin County. And you spoke quite loudly. What did it end up? 68% no to 32% yes? Is that what it ended up? So the voters had the last say. I honestly believe that the tax proposal was not defeated because of the activities of the no organizers. They had very little money. They had very few resources. The tax was beaten in Baldwin County because of the activities of the yes supporters. They foolishly put 3 renewals on the ballot at the same time with 2 highly controversial major tax increases. That was a serious mistake. They used taxpayer dollars and got in a position where they had to admit that. Voters didn't like it. I had yes voters tell me, we're with you on that taxpayer money. They should never have done that. It's going to bite them on the leg. And it did. The yes supporters were elitist. They acted as if you had to be a yes supporter or you were against the children. You were against Baldwin County. This is guaranteed to create a backlash. They overdid using teachers and school children and school property and the signage on the school properties. They overdid everything that they did, and they beat their own tax proposal. I wish that I could claim credit for that 68% of the vote, but I cannot. The yes supporters, from the superintendent and the school board members on down, and yes, the sheriff, my friend Horace Mack, that created a backlash too. So they beat themselves. Now, what is left hanging is the issue that got me into this: the spending of taxpayer money on a political referendum. That Attorney General's opinion still stands at this moment. 3 more counties have tax referendums on Tuesday, April the 28th. Those 3 counties could, under the protection of that erroneous Attorney General's opinion, could go out and spend their tax money. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. So I and some citizens and taxpayers of Baldwin County are preparing civil action, a lawsuit at this time. We hope to file it this week, seeking a declaratory judgment to declare that Code of Alabama 17-17-5 means exactly what it says. No local school board shall spend public funds for any ANY political activity. That will be our request to the judge. Now, your Vice President, Chad Kilgore, your treasurer, your secretary, I was hitting all right, Chad Kilgore, has agreed to serve as a depository. If anyone, you got to be careful what you say when you start using these big words. If anyone wants to help on this lawsuit, you can donate anything from $5 to $500. Now, you should make out those checks and turn them into Chad Kilgore. Make out those checks to the big, bad Montgomery law firm. This has to be filed in the Circuit Court of Montgomery County to sue the Attorney General. Isn't this a heck of a note? We got a Republican state auditor suing the Republican Attorney General. What's wrong with this picture? Well, the law says something very clear, and they go the opposite, and it affects you, the taxpayers. I'll sue the Attorney General or the governor or whoever needs to get it done right. And that's where we are. We got the biggest, baddest Montgomery law firm for this particular kind of legal action. A taxpayer lawsuit is an odd duck. In it, a common ordinary taxpayer can sue the governor, the lieutenant governor, the auditor, whomever, for illegally expending state funds. It's a wonderful vehicle that's rarely ever used. Not one lawyer out of every 500 has ever done one of these. But Julian McPhillips in Montgomery has done more of these than maybe all other lawyers put together, combined. Julian is a pro-life Democrat. Now, that makes him a minority in his own party. That actually helps us because 100% of the circuit judges in Montgomery County are elected Democrats. So I didn't go out purposely looking for a Democrat lawyer. Just when I picked out the best one for this particular kind of suit, by the way, he's a pro-life Democrat. Julian has established some landmark law in the field of that an unborn child has legal rights, including the right to live. He established that in Alabama courts. And so that's my kind of lawyer. And we're going to go after this. We got to overturn this because over the next 4 years, there will be 20 or 30 referendums. There may be another one right here in Baldwin County. They messed around and got their renewals beat by handling this so foolishly. They got their renewals beat. And they need those back. So there may well be another referendum. Now, if there are, I expect them not to spend a penny of taxpayer money on a referendum. They can do like anybody else, set up a finance committee and collect donors and do like we are with Chad Kilgore taking up these donations for the legal cost. $5 here, $10 here, $50, $100 there. Do it the old-fashioned way, one donor at a time. That's what the no voters had to do. And they only came up with about $6,000. Well, guess what? When you've got the yes voters defeating themselves, that's all it takes. We ask for your prayers in the case of Zeilger versus Strange. Can you imagine what the media is going to do with that name of that court case, Zeilger v. Strange? It may not be the last case by that name. I hope it will. I hope some people will start listening. I'm trying to reflect what you're saying back home in Montgomery. And sometimes these elected leaders think they know best. Well, they don't. You know best, and we're there to represent you. Let me entertain any questions before Kevin Spriggs and I take off headed for Bay Minette. Yes, sir, Matt.
Quick question, Mr. Zeilger. Just for my sake, can you help me understand a little bit more about the state auditor's office and just the different areas of government that you touch, and just for my own information and education?
The state auditor does two things. Number one, it inventories state-owned property. Now that doesn't sound like much, but there's $2 billion with a B, $2 billion worth of state property that your taxpayers have paid for, your tax dollars have paid for. If you don't have an effective auditing system, that state property can walk right out the door. They have had, before I came in 2 months ago, they have had lost automobiles. How do you lose a state car? Laptops, that's easy. A Caterpillar tractor, that's harder. 11 ice machines. Boy, don't you know every cabin on Lake Martin has an ice machine up in it. Weapons. There have been enough state weapons in the Department of Corrections and the Conservation Department and the Public Safety Department stolen or lost to arm a terrorist group to take over Goat Hill. I don't know why they'd want it, but it is amazing the dozens and dozens of weapons that you paid for that just go missing. Somebody got it at the house. Well, I decided to put in some accountability and some enforceability and hold the responsible person accountable so that they're either going to find that ice machine or pay for it. That's not rocket science. There was no final step in that auditing procedure. Once the report was made that showed these losses, a copy of it was sent to the Attorney General's office, never to be heard from again. Nothing ever happened, not a thing. So I'm going to take it on myself to get the lost property back or sue the no good so-and-sos and garnish their wages and put a lien on their house. Now that sounds mean, doesn't it? Well, I won't have to do that but 2 or 3 times. The word will spread. The word's already spreading that there's a new sheriff in town and that he's serious about accountability. So that's the number one thing I do. Number two is I hire a voter registrar in 66 counties, every county except Jefferson, which is under a different act. So that's another important thing that I do. Now you may notice some of the things I've been doing go beyond those 2 duties. When I became auditor, I didn't lose those rights that an Alabama taxpaying citizen has to challenge illegal government spending. I'm still a taxpayer. If I didn't, I'd get in all kind of trouble. So I am using my taxpayer standing to go against the wasteful spending in not my state auditor standing. Now, the state auditor gives me the bully pulpit to inform people about these issues. But I'm not able to go after the Baldwin County School Board because I'm the state auditor. I'm able to because I'm a taxpaying citizen of the state of Alabama, and so are you. Did that answer your question, ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
I've heard the number $1 million was spent by the board for the referendum. Is that?
That's higher than what I've heard. We will be able to nail the amount down in what the lawyers call discovery. We'll do interrogatories and depositions, and we'll be able to get exact. I hadn't heard that high. I had heard $500,000. Now, it's my understanding that they have it fessed up to 210,000 a piece at a time. Whatever it is, this needs to stop. See, if we don't win this lawsuit, if they come back with another vote just to renew the renewals and nothing else, they'll be spending your taxpayer money again under the protection of that Attorney General's opinion. So if you would, give a donation payable to McPhillips and Shenbaum attorneys. And where it says for, put Zeilger v. Strange. Well, that's going to take some getting used to. And Chad will take those up and get them to us. Now, amazingly, the lawyers only want us to have to come up with $3,000 for their actual expenses. They're not charging an attorney fee. They will ask the judge to court order one, but they have not asked for a retainer. But they would like their actual expenses to be fronted by some good Baldwin County concerned citizens. Now, there was a big fat filing fee of $559. I paid for that, not out of state auditor money, just out of my personal bank account. And all I got out of it was this meal tonight, thank you, Chad, and all this pretty weather, but it's the right thing to do. Yes, ma'am.
What would be the outcome from a positive outcome from the lawsuit? What's the ultimate goal there? Is it just to make sure that the law is clear going forward, or is it somebody paying that money back to the taxpayers, or what would be the outcome?
We will ask for restitution from the individual members of the Baldwin County School Board who voted to authorize this spending. We will ask for restitution. That is not as important as the declaratory judgment that spending was in violation of 1717.5. That's more important to the other 66 counties, but we will ask for restitution. Restitution's hard to win. Now, I don't feel sorry for them. They're bonded and they have errors and omissions insurance, so don't go feeling sorry for them. Feel sorry for yourself that you elected these buzzards and they have not been good stewards of your tax dollars.
And we pay for their lawyers, I assume.
There you go. Just the cost of running the election was something on the order of $150,000. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just have another question. Is there someone that does what you do on the federal level? Is there a federal auditor or is there?
Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Mike Lee, the Government Accounting Office, the GAO. We need a waste cutter in Washington. There's no question about that. I hope every one of you will like my Facebook page. It says Zeilger, waste cutter. And you'll learn more about what's going on in Montgomery than what you really wanted to know. Well, it's on to Bay Minette, and we appreciate you very, very much. I hope I get to come back and give you a follow-up report. Thank you, Bay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Zeilger, we're so thankful to have you here this evening.